Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So this is I already ground that down. I haven't test fitted it yet other than getting it in there, but I'm going to momentarily. I grabbed one of my micrometers to give you an extra accurate number. So this is a 2.32 millimeters, probably 2.3 on the label, 2.31 on the outer diameter. I mean on the, the diameter of the actual ring. And then the full diameter of the ring on the inside is going to be, it's going to be 14. So that's a 14 by 2.4. By 2 what is it, 2.0? 2.3. It's 2.3, yeah. It's going to be a 2.3 because this does much smaller increments. So that's going to be a 14 by 2.3 O-ring. And then the inner O-rings, I'm going to check the diagram for the impact and see exactly what size those are supposed to be. I have a diagram for every gun. I have for all my guns and for the compressor. And this is the FX, that's the impact right there. But I have the Ed gun, I have the Huma regulators, another part of the Ed gun. This is the Panthera, the Crown, another regulator from Huma. And then I have the Skout, obviously, is a big book right in the Skout box. And basically all my guns that have access to a diagram or schematic, I have it printed and saved because they're very good to have. So I'm going to look in this diagram at the barrel assembly, get that spec on the inner liner O-rings, which looks like number 32. So it should be B32, I think. That's the only place I see that. Oh no, it's right here. I'm sorry, it's E104 on the schematic. E104. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's the valve rod. That's a blown up valve rod. So it was B. Yeah, that's the breech block. That's the barrel. So no, that's the long rod in the barrel. Actually, that's not the barrel either. But that's the long rod for the barrel. Where the hell is the barrel? Yeah, that's the valve rod. That's the lower portion. There's the barrel, but I don't think this actually even has the barrel taken apart. Oh wow, this is all the inner parts of the gun, but it doesn't have the barrel schematics. Let's see if I can pull it up on the computer. I already am on the FX website. I was looking at something else, but let me see if I can find the schematic or the barrel schematic or the size O-ring for a 30 caliber inner and out, in between the inner and outer barrel. All right, let's see if I can find that. Let's see, impact M3. This is not where I'm going to find it. Where's the schematics? Accessories, clothing, about us, retailers. I think it's under support. And technical support, general inquiries, selected or downloads. Maybe it's under owner's manuals. No, service kit, service manuals, maybe. No, let's see if I could just search it. FX impact. Let's see, what would it be called? Inner slash outer barrel O-ring diameter. Let me put 30 cal barrel FX impact 0.30. That's 35 on the top. Let's see. X barrel O-ring. Oh, there we go. those, the ones that go right there. Okay. Which caliber is this? That's 22, 177, 25. There's 30. Okay. 2 barrel attachment, barrel inlet, STX liner, 30. Liner lock, O-ring. 7.5 by 1.5 NBR 70. That's which number was it? It's going to be number 7. Number 7. Yeah. Okay. So it's a 6.5 by 1.5 NBR 70. So I need a 6.5 by 1.5 O-ring. Let's try to find that. I have a whole bunch of O-ring kits that I should definitely have that size. 6.5 by 1.5. These are all different O-ring kits in here. 6.5 by 1.5. I have silicone too, but those are gaskets and flange gaskets. 6.5 by 1.5. I have 6. I don't 6.5. Let's see. These are 6.5 by 1.5. Let's see. These are small. I have 6s and 7s. I don't have halves. Where's 6.5? Six and a half by 1.5 right there. Second one. That can't be right. Those are too small. Is that the right? Oh, hold on. I think I was looking at the wrong one. I thought it was item number 7. Let's see. 7. Oh no, they're number 8. I was wrong. Okay. So 8 is 10 by 1. Okay. It's a 10 by 1. I'm sorry about that. My mistake. These are the inner size that goes in this. The inner O-rings for that. I saw it going in the barrel. I thought it was that. But what did I say? It was a 10 by 1. 10 by 1 should be in probably all of these. 10 by 1.5. I actually might want to try the 10 by 1.5 and see if it's a little tighter. That's 1, 2, 3 from the right here. 10 by 1.5. Let's see how that fits. It's just going to be a 0.5 millimeter thicker, so it may just make it a little bit tighter in the outer barrel or inner barrel in this case. Oh, there's actually, yeah, those fit good. And I'm going to put tape on either side, so that should make it even tighter. And I'm probably going to put like 6 or 7 of these. I'm going to do quite a few because they're not very thick, and I want them to really dampen the vibration. So I'm going to put them probably every couple of inches. Because I want this gun to be as accurate as possible. I mean, this liner I won't use in competition, I don't think. And I'll try it with pellets and see how it does. But the original liner for the gun works fantastic. For that specifically, it works fantastic for. Oh, I have scissors right here. Here we go. It works fantastic for pellets. I mean, it's shooting literally hole on hole. It's totally sub-MOA. 50 yards, I was probably, like less than 1/2 inch from center to center. This gun is incredibly accurate with pellets, so if you're a pellet guy, this gun is perfect the way it comes. You don't need to do anything to it. Let's see, I'll probably use at least 5 or 6 on the 800 millimeters until I change it to the carbon fiber sleeve. I mean, I could machine an aluminum sleeve to go over this, and I've considered doing it on the Ed gun when I was doing that. If anybody saw that video, when I was doing the Ed gun barrel conversion for the STX, which I did on that particular gun, it wasn't a good barrel for it, and it was a good barrel. It's a 25 caliber barrel that I used quite a bit because I actually like 25 caliber a lot. 25 caliber happens to be my favorite for most applications, like hunting and for accuracy shooting, because it's small enough to be very precise, but it's a little bigger than the 22 as far as, stopping power when you're hunting with it. Which, I do a lot of pesting, you would say. with squirrels on my properties and keeping them off my properties, because once you shoot a handful of them, some cases you have to shoot quite a few of them, but they get the message. The rest of them stop coming around. It's very few and far between that I see them here at my building or at my residential properties, because I've killed off the colony that was nearby, and I did some research on how they are as far as that kind of stuff, like colonies, and if they how far they stray, and they don't go very far unless they're in search of food, which that's the random one here and there that I'm getting that are probably just out searching for food, and they don't make it back because they're searching in the wrong place and they didn't get the message from the other colony. So, but they definitely get the message that they shouldn't be coming back there, or their colony does. And not to be breaking into my houses, chewing through wires. So honestly, that's all the kind of hunting I do. I don't really do hunting bigger animals, because I think I would feel guilty if I shot like a deer, and I wouldn't if I needed to eat it, but I don't, and I don't do it just for sport, because it's not pleasurable to me to just kill a big animal like that, especially big animals like that. The squirrels don't bother me. Birds, pigeons, squirrels, that doesn't bother me. I'll kill them all day. But bigger animals, they kind of seem more like us. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm a pussy, maybe I just have too big a heart. I don't know what it is, but I never want to shoot a person, and I carry a gun a lot of the time, but I never want to actually have to use it. And I never have had to use it, and hopefully I never do. But I'm not going to get caught down with my pants down either, and have somebody else have a gun, and then I'm shit out of luck and I'll be the one dead. So I do know how to use it. I do carry it when I feel like I need to. I carry it in the vehicle almost all the time. I don't usually carry it on me unless I feel like I need to. So it looks like it's going to end up being 6, I think, maybe 7. So I'll take 3 more over here just in case I want to do the 7th. Let's see how it spaces with these once I put the other 2 on. And if there's enough room, I'll probably do that last one too, because I want them pretty close together. This is going to do a good job of dampening vibrations until I get the 800 millimeter carbon fiber sleeve, and if it does that good, then I might not even bother. But the carbon fiber sleeves are like $30. I mean, when you spend this much on a gun and on the modifications you do to it, $30 to get at that final bit of accuracy or whatever your goal is pretty insignificant when you put that much time and energy and money into it, which I've done a lot of times with a lot of guns. So it's a bottomless pit, honestly. I probably should have picked a couple of guns that I really liked and really went crazy on those, but I kind of picked a lot of guns that I liked and went crazy on all of them. Probably just barely enough for the one more. I'm gonna do the 7 though. I'll do one at the very end, because I really wanted to have the carbon fiber liner going the whole way, but since I can't actually do that right now, I'm gonna do all 7 O-rings. And if this works well, then I'll just leave it this way. But I think this will definitely change the harmonics for the better, probably pretty dramatically. I mean, I probably should have tested it without it just to see, but I knew this already because I talked about sending the carbon fiber liner with Bill before I sent it, and didn't end up sending it because I didn't have it. I thought I had a 700, but I didn't, and I kind of wanted to be able to do that, but since I wasn't able to, and I don't know what they would have done differently with it. They may have just put it on the, like what I'm doing right now, and put it inside the regular inner outer liner and had the carbon fiber in between, and then did something to fit the liner, which I would imagine would be probably the exact same thing as I'm doing. I don't see too many other ways to do it. Because if you want to fill that space, you've got to fill that space, and O-rings are a good way to do it. And those other O-rings, those are the neoprene, the green ones. Those are a much harder material. They're not quite as hard or as solid as the white ones that they use in this gun, which are fantastic O-rings. I don't think those would be as good for this purpose. I think that the rubber or the hard rubber works better than the more plastic material on something like this to dampen vibration. I think to seal air gaps, they use the absolute best. I think that's the best thing you could use for that, for sure. So I'm gonna need to brush these with a little lubricant. Yeah, so this should be really tight. Hopefully I don't have to put any more tape, and then the tape is going to push because of this. But then I'm going to put some more tape, and then I'm going to pull in the targets and put some new ones, and then I'm going to show you guys some accuracy testing. I will set up the computer so you can see the camera that's on the targets. And I just made a video on that target retrieval system that I put together. Because hopefully if you guys are planning on doing something like that, or buying something like that, or ever we're going to plan on it, you'll watch that video and not have to spend your money, because you can make it yourself. And if anything I didn't describe in the video, you can feel free to contact me, or leave a comment, and I will describe it thoroughly, more thoroughly, if it wasn't thoroughly enough in the video. That's getting them down. Now this will be nice and tight, for real. It's going to be tight as a drum, and then it's going to double tension. So I have to use a wrench to tighten this, a plier to tighten the end one, and then that lock nut tightens down and that tensions it even further. So this is actually a very good barrel design, in my opinion. I'm going to move you guys back so it's a little wider. Okay, so I think this is a very good barrel design, because if you see, this tightens down with the pliers, right? And then when it gets down to where this is going to tension both the inner and the outer, the inner in the middle, and then the outer is hitting the outer barrel of this tensioning nut. And then the lock nut just locks it into place, and then you tighten that down, and everything is very tightly tensioned. And then this whole barrel tensions in the gun in 3 locations, which is a very thorough design. Honestly, I have to give it to Skout, because they came up with a fantastic design for this barrel, for the gun in general, honestly. Okay, tighten this down all the way. See, now I can feel it hitting, and that's right where it was before. Oh yeah, that's tight. You see, I'm going to shake it. Nothing is moving in there. There's no space in the middle. That outer barrel is tightened down, first of all, from here to here, from the top to the bottom, but also it's tightened between the outside carbon fiber and the outer barrel, and that very tightly, and then very tightly between the inside barrel and the other middle barrel now. What's now the middle barrel, that was the outer barrel. And then I'm going to tighten this lock nut. And she's done. That is it. So now, how you tighten this onto, so there's a tensioning system that goes, so like I said, there was 3 points that it gets tensioned. So this is tensioned obviously from front to back, and then this is going to tension it in the back, and then this is going to tension it right here. So this has you can see this fitting that goes on here, and it has a gap in it, and then when you tighten this down, it tightens it into here, which is actually a new design. When they first came out with it, they just had like one of those awesome O-rings they use, the hard white ones was in there, and let's see, I want that facing, I think, up until I turn it tight. No, it's got to go in this way. Does it? Yeah, let me see. Are those two different sizes? Yeah, no, that can go in that way. Okay, so when I tighten it, then that O-ring will be down. So now that plastic fitting is in here, and it's with the gap, and then when I tighten this, it's gonna pinch that in, and it's beveled on one side, so it really pinches in there tight, and then it holds this end of the barrel, but I'm gonna tighten this side first. So this just ratchets down like that, and then I'm going to pull it out and go back up. I'm sorry, push it in and go back up, and tension it down one more time. So wait a minute, is that? Let me see. So that's facing up right now, and then that's gonna go all the way in there. And when I tension it down like that, that's not far enough down. So I must be wrong about where this is supposed to be located. I think that's got to be on the bottom. Where's the transfer port? It's right in front of that. Just about right straight in front of that. So if I go here, and it's turning that much, that's not all the way down. Okay, so that's not the way it's going to go. It's got to go down. Then if it goes down, it can't be in the right spot either. Oh, see, it won't even tension down now. Yeah, it was in the right place. So I've changed the liners a lot on this gun. I haven't had to change the whole barrel. So this is my first time actually putting a different, I took that barrel out, but I didn't put another barrel in. So does that tension in more? Does that tighten in further? No, I think it's locked down. I think that's as far as it wants to go. So this nut is going to lock that in also. And then the suppressor goes on, and then we can do some trials. So I'm going to these are some pliers that I used, some heavy gauge shrink wrap, like heavy wire shrink wrap for some like number 10 wire, number 8 wire, number 6 wire, some thick wire, and it's very thick. Okay, it's very thick rubber so that it doesn't destroy your anodized finish. All right, and then I'm going to use the suppressor I already had since it's already out. But you know what? Maybe I'll put this on this barrel so that when I change it, I have a suppressor on there already. Because I don't need to tension the inside barrel. It's already done. And I'll use the new one on there. I'll put this in the Skout box. There's my diagrams. And then I'm going to put my two 22 caliber magazines in here. Those are the 22s, right? No, that's a 30. Is it? I think those are the 30 calibers, and those are the 22s. I can put these away. So I ended up using these, the OEM ones, on the specs on the data sheet from FX are 10 by 1 millimeter. I used 10 by 1.5 because I made it a little bit tighter. I just wanted to fill that gap nice and tight. They slid in a lot harder, which is why they were probably 10.1, but I did the 10 by 1.5, so it was a little harder to tension them in, to get them in, but I just, used a rubber mallet, as you saw. which got them in just fine. I mean, I modified a lot. I even made a tension barrel before their tension barreling system came out. I did a video on it. I don't know if anybody saw it, but all you had to do was take the outer shroud on the inside and thread those inner liner screws or threads in a little further, and after you thread them in a little further, you could tighten down the outer barrel on the impact. You could torsion that down to that clamp, which was the same clamp that was in it originally. So there was really no need for them to, I mean, the carbon fiber sleeve, it is better with the 800, and really the length was the only reason I ordered it. I wouldn't have ordered just the barrel tensioning system, because I did order a 700 tensioning system, and I ended up returning it because it was worse than mine. Mine actually was more accurate. So here's the 222 caliber magazines they sent me. Obviously they came in a box. They each came in a box. So I'm going to load these up. I've been making some lighter slugs to start with on this. I made a bunch of 47.5 grain slugs and then a bunch of 55. And I'm still in the process making the 55s. I didn't fill the whole drawer thing that I stocked them in with it yet. But I usually keep one or two drawers of the most used caliber and weight, most used calibers and weights, like the 40 and the 41.5 in the 22. So I have two of each of those, and then 38 and 36.4, and then 32 grain I have less of, just like one drawer that's not even full. 25 caliber, I have two whole drawers of 40 grain, and then 25 caliber 48 grain, I have two whole drawers, and then one drawer of 50, and then it goes to 30. And then 30 right now is the 47.5, the 55, and the 62.5. And the highest I usually go in 30 caliber was 69 grain, which that was even kind of heavy for the impact with all the modifications. But I have a lot of faith in this gun that it's going to be pretty damn powerful, because it's been pretty powerful already with 50 grain pellets. So it's definitely got the power to get, 50 grains, give or take, has got enough power to get them, moving 1,000 plus. So it's definitely got some balls. So this could totally be used as a hunting gun for sure. Hunting, but it's got some weight to it. That's the only part of that to consider. So, I mean, definitely put a strap on it. Using it for hunting, I haven't put a strap on it yet, but I haven't also taken it out and used it for hunting yet. I've been target shooting with it. But now, if this works as well as I expect it to, I definitely will be. So I'm going to load these two magazines. I'm going to use 47.5s right now to start. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do, no, because I want to get it zeroed. I'm going to do both the same weight, because I don't want to change weights while I'm trying to zero it. So I'm going to do all 47.5 grain here. And these magazines are actually very deep, which is awesome, because you can shoot the polymags out of these. I have the 30 caliber polymags. They shoot fantastic out of this. They shoot like dead on out of this with the original barrel. So I'm losing a small amount of barrel length compared to the OEM, but I mean 8 to 850 I don't think should make us a very substantial difference. And plus these are light for 30 caliber 47.5. I mean, I know they make them lighter, but honestly, when you're pressing the slugs yourself, the smaller they are, the harder they are to get off when you press them, because I've been having to use tweezer pliers to get them off, unless I'm lubricating it all the time, which you don't want to do, because even with the Corbin swage lube or any other lube, I actually have another kind that I prefer. If you guys have seen my slug pressing videos, you'll see what I was using, but I prefer that because it has a thicker consistency and you don't have to lubricate it as often. But when you lubricate it like the first few slugs that come out of it are a little bit deformed on the tip because of the lubricant filling that space. Because any type of grease doesn't move very easily. So that's why sometimes you use it to get bearings out and stuff like that when they're stuck. Like, for instance, my pilot bearing on my Challenger, when I did the clutch and I changed the pilot bearing and the throw-out bearing and all that. The pilot bearing, I ended up using, people were using grease in videos that I saw, but bread. I used bread because it's less of a mess than grease, but grease would have worked the same way. You pack it in there and then pound something in the middle that's tight in there with electrical tape so that it won't let the grease out, and it forces the bearing out. So it goes to show you that the grease is not going to go anywhere. You know, it's gonna spread out eventually, but you're gonna have a whole bunch of slugs that are deformed while it's moving it. All right, so we've got 2 full magazines. We've got the gun ready to go. The barrel's all inserted, and it's tensioned down the way I envisioned tensioning it. Hopefully, it was a good way to do it. I feel like it was because it's incredibly tight, and everything is tight. The outer barrel to the other outer barrel. You know, the middle barrel now to the outer barrel, the inner barrel to the middle barrel, and the whole gun should be very stable and very secure, and it should be very accurate. So we're going to check that theory right now. I'm just going to air it up, or actually I'm going to bring it up on the table with you guys. Then I'm going to grab my laptop so I can put the target on the laptop so you can see the accuracy, and I'll bring back the targets and get some new targets on there. And we'll do some accuracy testing. Oh, I have my tank right here, never mind. Alright. So I'll air this up. Let's bring back the targets. So here, you guys couldn't. That's if you didn't see the other video, that's the target retrieval system that I made. So I'm going to put a new target on these. I'm just going to take this one off and put a whole new one, and then I'm going to put a new one over that. I'm just going to stick it to it. So these are sight-in targets. They're pretty big. I'm going to use one of these like this. You guys will see it on the video. I'm going to put the camera on the screen that I have down there focused on the targets. I need to get some more of these clips, that's for sure. Okay. And this one, I think I'm just going to stick a new target over top of it. I'm going to tack weld these clips to this so that they don't slide. Not right now, but I'm going to do that at some point. Probably later today when I think of it. Alright, so I'm going to peel this off, stick it on here, and I'll have 2 brand new targets down there so you guys can see exactly where I'm hitting. Without any question if it was a previously existing hole, because there are no previously existing holes. So that will answer that question. Okay, and click this side. Yeah, I definitely got to tack weld these clips on. Alright, send it out. And there she goes. In case you guys didn't see the other video, I used paracord. That's paracord, and I did originally try it with wire rope, and it worked. And it was much tighter, but the motor I was using at the time couldn't handle turning it. But it also was too high of a speed motor and too low of a torque motor. I think this motor could handle the wire rope, and I may go back to it. I haven't completely decided yet whether or not to go back to it, but I'm leaning towards going back to it. So I'm going to put the laptop, my Surface, on the desk, on the table here, so you guys can see while I'm shooting exactly where I'm hitting. Because the camera is pretty close down there, and it's got a good zoom, and you can pretty clearly see what's going on. So let me grab that and set it up for you guys to see downrange what's going on. Hey guys, Chris here. So I just wanted to summarize the whole STX conversion on the Skout Epoch. So I ended up finding out why I was having a little bit of inconsistency, and I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. I have the gun already put back together, so I'm going to show you by an example of exactly what I did. I'm trying to find the rest of I used this 3M adhesive rubber. It's on the outer barrel, on the outside of the inner barrel. I'm sorry. Actually, that's wrong. It's the outside of the FX outer barrel, because the FX outer barrel fit inside of the barrel sleeve for the Epoch, because it's a thicker barrel. So what I did is I wrapped this in 3M adhesive rubber. This is it right here. So I cut a bunch of pieces, just the right size to go right around this. So you can see it's pretty good diameter rubber. I'm not sure, probably a couple millimeters. It's pretty good diameter. So it gave it that extra girth to take up the space, because I wanted less vibration, because I was getting a little bit of inconsistency. And I was thinking that would resolve it, and it did make it better. It did get a lot better with just that. But I found out what the actual source of the inconsistencies were. Anyways, you'll see in just a second. So I wrapped this all the way down with that rubber, and then I wrapped it in Tessa tape on top of that to fill that last bit of space. And then inside I used the original O-rings, because I didn't have the 800 millimeter carbon fiber. So I did all that, and I started shooting, and I did record it. I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to put in this video, because I'm trying to just get to the point and show you guys how it turned out. It turned out incredibly well. I got some really good accuracy. I'm going to show you. But so after doing all that, I had the barrel tensioned. It was tensioned. You know, it's tensioned at the end when you torque it down with the ratcheting system. It's tensioned at the end of it's just like the impact. It's tensioned at the end. The inner barrel and the inner and outer FX and the outer Skout barrel are all tensioned together, because I fitted it so that they would all be tensioned together. And I was still getting a little bit of inconsistency. It was like getting closer and closer to being as accurate as I was expecting it to be, and I didn't know what the variable was. And the suppressor that comes on the Skout is a really good design, and it works fantastic with pellets. With slugs, not so much. So this being one of the only variables that was left, I even tried like rotating this the opposite direction so that the holes would be facing outward. And I because these are inverted in one direction, it's like they're like drilled at an angle. So I tried it the opposite way. That didn't have any effect. I ended up just using one of these. These are I'm probably going to start selling these. These are made on a 3D printer, but they're not made with typical 3D printer material. These are made with carbon fiber engineering grade filaments. So they're like these are carbon fiber. This is an aluminum filament. This is a high-end carbon fiber filament. Some glass fiber, ABS, all different kinds of high-end engineering filaments that I'm trying it with and getting decibel readings and seeing what's working the best. But anyways, I took the silencer off and I just used the adapter to one of these that I printed in. This is PA12 carbon fiber. So I used this, and then I actually used my CNC machine that I did on the lathe silencer also that this is the internal, but I have a full suppressor with that, and I put that suppressor on with the adapter right here, and immediately started seeing incredible accuracy. So the suppressor is great for pellets. It was literally half of a bullseye with 10 shots. It was hole on top of hole, literally pellet on pellets, every time. But with slugs, it's a different story. So I don't know, I don't think that the gun was even made for slugs, because they didn't make a slug barrel yet, and they're still developing one. So I'm not disappointed in any way, because that's not what it was made for. So I knew that I had to do that myself if I wanted it to work with slugs, and I did. So I did, and I'm glad that I got it with the STX liner. I haven't tried it back with the original liner yet to see if that would be any more accurate with the other suppressor. I will try that, and I'll let you guys know in the future, but just so that if you guys have one and there's a way to make it more accurate with slugs without having to do anything, that's great. But I'm glad that I did it anyways, because now that I have the STX liner sleeve, I can use all three calibers that I have in 800 millimeter, 22, 25, and 30. I can just change the liner, or I can use that outer sleeve and change the liner inside of that, and I don't have to redo that outer sleeve or anything. I can just take the 800 millimeter liner out and put it in here, and switch calibers that way, and then just get a couple of probes or machine them or whatever, and that's that. And I can use multiple calibers. I'm still going to get their slug liner when they come out with it, because the way that they coat the inside of the barrel is similar to an actual AR or a rifle. It's almost the same process, from what I understand. I haven't seen it done or anything, but I'm pretty sure by the materials that they're using, by the chemical that they use, it's the same thing. I'm going to grab the magazines, and I'll do a little bit of shooting, and I'll show you guys the accuracy real quick. So I've got two fully loaded, so two magazines. I don't think I'll need to shoot them all to show you, but I haven't actually shot it right now. I hadn't been shooting before I started the video, so I haven't shot it since I'm not sure, a couple days ago. I haven't had as much time to shoot as I used to, or as much time to do any of this research or anything recently. So I'm trying to record it for you guys when I do. I'm just gonna air it up. I'm not sure. I didn't even check how much air it had, but I'm sure it's gonna need some at some point. My faucet connection over here is leaking for some, I'm not sure why. All right, let's see. Yeah, we got plenty of air. Okay. So I'm just gonna shoot a target. I'm not gonna set up the camera or anything, or the computer for the camera. I'm just gonna shoot it, and then I'll bring the target back. I recently did a video also on this target retrieval system that I made. I just set up a motor and a motor housing and a couple of pulleys and some paracord, and it brings the targets right back. So I'll show it to you as soon as I'm done. Oh, let me turn it on. I always forget about that with the electronics on it. And luckily it doesn't need to be charged very often, so if you forget that, it's not the end of the world. It lasts a pretty long time. we go. Yeah, buddy. So my first 4 shots were high. They were like a little higher and then a little lower, 2 sets of 2. And then I've had every shot other than those in one hole except for one. Now it's all going in the same hole. It's making a big hole, but let me try to shoot a different target now that I've gotten it opened up. Alright, that's the end of that mag. Alright, let me bring it back and show it to you guys. And the velocities are good. I didn't have a chronograph on it right now, but it's shooting just under 1,000 feet a second. It's like 980 or something like that. So obviously this is a heck of a lot easier than having to walk the 50 yards every time. Not that it's a big deal, but it was just a little project that I decided to do. So, but it worked out good. So here's the target that I was shooting. All right, so this was the first one that I was saying that I had a couple, you know, I had these two. First, that was the highest. That was the first one, second one, and then these two were right after. And then all the rest are right here. And then when I went for the next target, that was all this. This was from, I repaired an FX Impact for somebody earlier today, and I was zeroing it for them. But this was just now, all that. So, and I actually had an even better card on it. Let me see. I saved a picture of it. I actually sent it off to the owner, Bill. He's a really nice guy. I'm going to do some more testing with it, but this was that it? No, that was the gun that I did earlier today. Hold on. No, I think that was it. No, because let's see. This was it right here. So these were, let's see. So these right here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. These two were sighting in. So I was getting the scope zeroed because I had just put this barrel into the gun, and I had it zeroed with pellets before that. So that was obviously way off, and I compensated, and I was over here, and I compensated, and then I was right there, and then I had 2 flyers in that group, and that was a whole magazine, so 23 rounds. So 23 rounds essentially went into basically one hole after sight in, other than 2 flyers out of 23. So, and that was when I first changed the silencer and first started getting consistent shots. So for some reason, the design of that silencer doesn't like my slugs anyway. I don't know. I haven't tried any other slugs. These are the slugs that I make with the press slug. So I'm not sure about any store-bought slugs. I prefer to use mine because, you know, I press them myself, so I can make sure that there's no imperfections and that they're gonna fly right. And the press slug makes some really good slugs, and I have 4 calibers from 22 to 35, and you can make them any size you want. These were 47.5 grain I've been using, and then some 55 grain. This gun with crazy heavy slugs, it's a little bit more inconsistent. So I think because of I think because if I use their original barrel, and if it is accurate when I do try it, it will probably shoot straighter with heavier slugs, because it's happened with every hammerless gun. They struggle with slugs a little bit because of the air. The only one that doesn't is the Rattler. The Rattler likes the slugs and shoots them straight all the time, you know, very consistently. But it's got a solid barrel, so that's why. And the same thing with the Ed gun. The Ed gun has no hammer. It's air open and closed valve, and this is a similar design. It's just electronically controlled. So the other ones are just air controlled. I mean, the trigger releases the air, and there's a valving system that opens and closes a valve when you fire. So, you know, and that's how you change the jets in the Ed gun to make it open and close faster, and that's your dwell time on this. So those guns, like I made the STX liner. I did that myself. I machined all the parts to change it over to an STX liner in the Ed gun. That didn't shoot straight, and I don't think I ever did get it to shoot really consistent. I probably could now, because honestly, doing this has given me some insight on other things that I can do. But maybe I will try it later on, but honestly, there's no reason. The Ed gun shoots perfectly with the barrel that it came with, and that's the Alpha barrel, not the choked barrel, the Lothar Walther. I mean, they're both made by the same company, but anyways, if you're wondering about the Alpha barrels, they're great. I mean, it shoots perfectly. But anyways, I just wanted to summarize the video and show you guys that I did end up getting very consistent accuracy, and the gun will definitely shoot slugs if you're willing to do the work. So I don't know about the other original liner. I'm going to test and find that out, and I will let you guys know. But hopefully, if you guys have a Skout and you were interested in thinking about converting it to a STX liner, this gave you some insight. And honestly, Skout is very reasonable on their prices for making a custom liner, a custom outer barrel for the liner. So I mean, I spent about $400 and something, but I got 2 magazines also, and they sent another silencer, which the silencer won't work with the slugs, but I definitely will use it with pellets. So on the bench rest for competition, I'll probably use all the original stuff if I end up using this gun, which it's definitely a top contender right now. So the trigger is amazing. It's better than the Raw, which is a real match grade trigger. This is a hair trigger, really. I don't know how else to describe it. It's that simple. It's literally 2 ounces. I measured it. It's 2 ounces. It's unbelievably light. So anyways, hopefully this helped you guys out if you're looking for accuracy with slugs on a Skout Epoch. All right, have a good night, guys.